On February 17th, we have a new moon, but not just any old new moon. This is the solar eclipse in Aquarius. And this is going to be highlighting the theme of each of us for the rest of the year. All right, if you're new to my channel, thanks for joining. My name is Trina. I'm your intuitive guide with a chakra vibe, helping you navigate life's energies. It's a solar eclipse in Aquarius. And what is Aquarius? Okay, let's just right now think about some of the people that we know, a celebrity, I guess, who are sort of this inventor energy of Aquarius. I mean, we have Thomas Edison. We have John Deere, and hey, I grew up on a farm, and I know a lot of you have too. John Deere is an Aquarius, and also, dude that made the periodic table. What was his name? Dimitri something or other, but the periodic table guy, like he's an Aquarius, right? And we can't forget the famous President Abraham Lincoln. Okay, so he was an Aquarius too, and he did some innovative things, whether you like him or not or whatever. He did some innovative things. And also, I wanted to mention Guy Fieri, if you're watching. Yay! I think me and you actually share the same birthday, too. January 22nd. I don't know. I got to check that again. But Guy Fieri is also an Aquarius, and he's very innovative when it comes to the whole chefing out, right? So there is that vibe here. It's a good year to do something new, and to really get creative. There's a lot of mind stuff going on this year, though, with that Aquarius, which is an air sign, air element, which is up here, the Wi-Fi, the signals, the energy. In fact, Aquarius rules the auric field, the energy body, everything from the EMF that we got from the 5G and the Wi-Fi signals and the internet signals and the communications and all that. There's a lot of that Aquarius vibe. Even if we look in tarot, we see the star card, which rules Aquarius, and you see she's pouring the knowledge, and the star card is a lot like the glyph, or what, not the glyph, the character of Aquarius, if you look, right? Pouring the knowledge. That's why a lot of people get confused. They thought Aquarius was a water sign because of that water liquid. But what it is pouring the knowledge from the cosmos, per se, into this 3D Earth. So there's a lot of knowledge, air sign, intellect, intelligence. And the whole vibe of Aquarius quite often is sort of a detached, liking humanity, but maybe from a distance. I mean, try to hug Aquarius. Yeah, right. It's like, ugh, they don't want the hugs. No, thank you. Let's play chess, or let's talk about quantum physics instead. But there's that. But it has a lot to do with the intellect and the brain, and just lots of neurons going. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about what this eclipse can mean for us as a collective, but also I'm going to get into each sign, Aries to Pisces, and then we will be pulling our cards, by the way, as well as the astrology forecast. So you'll see cards pulled for your sign from the Power of 8 Chakra Lenormand and the Power of 8 Chakra Oracle. So if you like Lenormand, you'll kind of think that these are interesting because Lenormand's been chacrified, and that me as an Aquarius sun, right, born under the sun in Aquarius. That's why we made a Lenormand because Lenormand's a very traditional sort of system, different than Tarot, different than Oracle. It's got its own thing going on, which you'll see. But we've chacrified it. So when you get your deck, you open it up, you get your chakra chart, and of course on the bottom, everything always works out for me. Because if we're being programmed by society and the archons and whatever's programming us, at least we could program our brain for some good stuff. Everything always works out for me. All right? So stay tuned for that. And you can get these on my site, by the way, my website, www.themoontree.org. They are delivered as a set, kind of like a partnership here. And they're delivered with a tracking number as well for your safety and security. All right. Oh my gosh, an eclipse. So a new moon is when the sun and the moon are together in the same degree, as we can see in this chart. Okay, so they're together. And in a solar eclipse, the moon is in front of the earth, which makes it look like it's covering the sun. Now, whether you believe in the heliocentric model or not, that's really not the point here. But if you'd like to discuss more of these kind of things, you should check out the Stars and Cards Academy, where we meet once or twice a month on Zoom together and we talk about stuff like this. We learn new things and we practice and we pull cards for each other and we do readings for each other, and it's really cool, and we get to be free in what we say. Okay, so I just want to put that out there. See, Aquarius vibe too wants to be like a grassroots power to the people. Let's uprise. Let's create a movement. Let's reform. Power to the people. You know, that's a very big Aquarius vibe too. You know, people, you know, back in Abraham Lincoln's day, you know, with the whole Civil War and everything like that, you know, there was this sense of trying to rise up from something in some way and change the system, right? And so I know a lot of people are really this year going to be awakened, so to speak. And what is awakened? Okay, well, we have these flappers, right? We have these flappers on the side here. We can only see a certain, and then when we're awakened, it's just opening those flappers, and there's always something new to learn, right? You're never done learning. Aquarius loves to learn too, but there's that vibe of learning, you know. Now, Aquarius, although, like I said, it doesn't want to be hugged and touched and snuggled so much as its partner Leo on the other side of, you know, because Leo and Aquarius are on the same line, so they're together. So there's components of Leo coming up this year too, right? We do have the Leo eclipse this summer as well. But in any case, what I'm trying to say is that although Aquarius may not want to hug and snuggle humanity, there's a deep emotional feeling of, I want freedom for humanity, right? I want freedom. I want freedom of speech. I want freedom to do, and I want to rise above, like, a lot of Aquarians too enjoy speaking about simulation theory, for example, and escaping the matrix, so to speak. It's all in the mind, right? And so one of the things I want to say that Aquarius is teaching us this year as a collective is the art of detachment and the art of observation. So rather than be so emotionally involved and being sad and angry and watching the news and being all, you know, whatever, Aquarius is teaching us to, hey, take a step back. How can we be more compassionate with each other? How can we help each other? How can we be more like of the Gnostic side of view, which is knowing, Gnosticism, and it's learning a lot about the loving of the people and having humanity. Because Aquarius, although it does rule technology, and there is a lot of the AI and all that and the robotics, and you know, they say that the archons and the whatever wants to make us all machines and androids and whatever. Fine, maybe true, maybe not. That's not what I'm here for. What I'm here to say is that Aquarius is teaching us how to be human with each other, which I think that lately we've lost the sense of humanity because we've been so separated from each other. And Aquarius wants to come together as a collective, collect the people together and rise up as a collective, as loving each other, compassionate for each other, helping each other, humanitarian, at the 11th house of the people, the organizations, the networks. And so trying to bring something there. So it's going to be quite an interesting year for everybody. So I would say, as a remedy or whatever, if you want to take anything away from this, is this year, learn some technology, but go back to your humanitarian roots and love someone, right? Be compassionate and realize that we're all together. We're not separate like they want us to be separate. Remember, it's much easier to conquer and to win when you separate the people, when you make them fight each other, right? And when but unity. It was funny because my brother used to tease me when I was young, right? My brother's 9 years older than me. He's an Aries, by the way, and I'm an Aquarius. But anyways, he used to tease me. He'd go like this: Trina, individually, these fingers mean nothing. But together, they form a formidable force. And then he'd go, kidney punch. And then, like, you know what I mean? Like, as a joke. It wasn't a hard punch. Don't worry. I'm not abused by my brother or anything, but I'm just saying that he was right, individually. These do. They don't really have any potency individually. But when we come together like Aquarius wants us to do, we pack a potent punch. Okay, so humanity, compassion. That's the message for it today. All right. Now, the eclipse wants to eclipse something out of our lives that may be no longer serving us, or that is just in the way now, or we've outgrown. So when we talk about your individual charts, Aries to Pisces, we will discuss those things that are being eclipsed out of your life this year in order to bring in new, wonderful Aquarius star card opportunities. All right. So let's get started. And oh, by the way, if you're interested, come see me at my website, www.themoontree.org, for the cards and for readings and for free things, free resources, free trainings, and maybe a few other goodies that I forgot to mention. All right, Aries. Okay, so this eclipse is happening in your 11th house. And this is the people, friends, networks, organizations. You're getting a lot of people energy this year. And because it's attached to the 5th house, there's also you being more romantic and having new friends, maybe even having a new girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever, that kind of partnership too. This is a good place for you, Aries, to be in. You and Libra this year are really seeing a lot of changes with your relationships and the people that you choose to hang around with, but also some stuff with your kids too. But what we're seeing here, an eclipse likes to eclipse, meaning to push away, cancel, clear, delete, something that is not useful in your journey, Aries, to creating new networks and getting out with the people and starting something new, and your hopes and dreams in the 11th house too. I mean, this is a really big shift for you in 2026, almost like a reset, a restart in, well, what does me as an Aries want and desire now for my life? And a lot of it has to do with the people. So the people are your cheat code, Aries, this year. All right, let's pull some cards from the Power of 8 Chakra Lenormand, Power of 8 Oracle, like I showed you at the beginning on my website, www.themoontree.org. All right, Aries, this is for you. 11th house activation, solar eclipse. So cool, so cool. And look, there's some nice fish card. The fish card is abundance and money, things like that can be. Now, the 11th house too gets money sometimes from the 10th house of career. Like I'm going to assume that you're getting some kind of maybe a promotion this year, or money from your own personal business. Maybe this is a time for you, Aries, if you haven't already, to think about having a side gig, right? We call it side gigs, but side income, or a side project, things like that. And you bring you abundance and good fish love, right? The fish card's often a lot about entrepreneurship too, getting money from some kind of side thing too. So think about that. If you're a teacher, maybe it's like doing some side tutoring on Zoom or whatever. I mean, I'm just making up stuff here, but whatever it is, but there's a lot of abundance to be had through those people and those benefactors and those networks. And so listen for those people. in Chinese metaphysics, we call those noblemen. And by the way, speaking of Chinese metaphysics, Aries, make sure you check for your animal sign in the astrology forecast for 2026 that I've created for your Chinese animal sign. You know, whether you're a ox, rooster, whatever. Check those out too. But there's abundance here this year for you, and it does come through the people. Okay, now let's pull one more card from the Power of Eight Chakra Oracle, the pink. This is you know, chakra vibes kind of thing. Color therapy for you, Aries. Oh, I speak my feelings. So yes, this is a time where you can really speak your feelings, but there's a tactful way to do so. Aries, I know that you are a fire sign and you're the beginning of the zodiac and you want to go, go, go. And sometimes maybe you might say things, which is, you know, there's not a problem with that. But I do think that there needs to be a little bit of tact this year, because the year of the fire horse and all these other things in Western astrology are happening in the cosmos. Lots of action this year, okay? Lots of action this year. And when you want to speak your feelings, that's a good thing, but with tact, with compassion, and always keep love in there as well as you speak your feelings. And so you can help with the light blue rocks. I'm a big crystal, you know, look at my jewelry, right? Crystal, light blue things. Blue lace agate is a good one, for example. And then when you use your essential oils, okay, Aries, use peppermint. That's a good one too, for I speak my feelings, not just your thoughts, but your true heart, right? And remember, Aquarius season, or I mean, this whole Aquarius vibe of this year for everyone is a humanitarian thing too. Compassion for the people, power to the people, and speaking your feelings, speaking your truth, but more from the emotional body down in the heart. Okay, Aries, not just your thoughts and to debate someone, but for real heart-to-heart conversations this year with the people, the friends, the romances, your parents, all these things. I speak my feelings. All right. Thanks, Aries, for watching. Come see me for a reading. All right, Taurus rising, those with their moons in Taurus. This solar eclipse activation is in your 10th house of career, fame, and reputation. Now, this means that this is a year where you will be balancing the career and the home life too, because the 10th house is up here and the 4th house of home and family right across from it. So they're attached, they're on a line. How do we balance the two? But there could be some eclipses to a career. Maybe you don't like it anymore, or maybe it doesn't suit you anymore, or maybe you want to have a new career, or maybe you want to start a home business rather than be out there in the world. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff there, but the whole fact is, what do I want now when it comes to the 10th house of how I create value to the world, my career, my reputation, all those, the recognition in your life, those kind of things, Taurus, are being observed and changed this year. Indeed, I do see a lot of people energy for you this year too, a little bit of people energy. If you've been at home for a long time, for example, Taurus, it could be time to get out more. It could be time to finally, you know, you're a performer and kind of pull that guitar out and start performing for people. That's an example. Or showing your art to the world, or selling your art, for example. 10th house is it's a very top of the house. Everybody's looking at you. So it's like, how do we take advantage of that this year? And maybe, you know, this eclipse is trying to eclipse your shyness away and give you more courage to be yourself and to show all the things and not be afraid of what other people think. And remember, Taurus, you're not everybody's cup of tea, but you're someone's caramel macchiato. All right, let's pull some cards from the Power of Eight Chakra Lenormand and Power of Eight Chakra Oracle, available on my website, www.themoontree.org. All right, knocking 3 times for Taurus, 10th house activation with this new moon, new beginning, solar eclipse, February 17th. which is sort of a theme all year for you, Taurus. And look at this, the power, having that power. 10th house is a powerful house because it's right at the top of the chart. I told you, everybody's looking at you this year, Taurus, in some way. And so it's finding that power again. It's finding that power to shine. It's finding that power to get that promotion. It's finding that power to start your own business. It's the power of the bear. Okay. And this can be a lot about your money too. I mean, with little steps towards shining in the 10th house, that can bring you some big money here too. Now, this can be your boss. And because you're in the 10th house of career, business, and stuff, this could be a time this year where you get that promotion, or you get recognized, or you get up leveled in your career business thing too. So that's very interesting. And we'll pull a card too from the Power of Eight Chakra Oracle for you, Taurus. Okay, this is for Taurus. Solar eclipse, new moon, new beginnings in Aquarius. Very inventive. I'm connected. And Aquarius vibe too for everyone is that connection with humanity in general. So there is, I'm connected so that I can rise and shine in the 10th house. My legacy I leave behind. This is a good time to get your amethyst out or your lepidolite for if you're feeling a little nervous about all this stuff and being promoted and being recognized, because sometimes we could be shy as a Taurus person, right? But lepidolite can help relieve the anxiety. That's a crystal that's purple. But I am connected to my higher self, my higher purpose. Okay. So that's a good thing for you indeed. Thanks, Taurus. Come see me for a reading. Gemini rising, those with their moons in Gemini. This solar eclipse, February 17th, new moon, new beginnings, is happening in your 9th house. This is a big time for you, Gemini. This year's big because you're expanding your horizons in the 9th house. And so an eclipse eclipses away something that is preventing you from really expanding your knowledge, your adventure. So what can we do so that you can have more knowledge is one thing. Okay, 9th house is a lot about the knowledge and the philosophy of life. You could be embarking in some new philosophy things or energy healing things, or maybe new gurus, things like that. Gemini, the 9th house too this year for you has to do a lot with justice and law. I mean, some of you may be doing some kind of court case or whatever. Maybe you got divorced and we're trying to fix that. I don't know, whatever. But stuff like that, right? There's a 9th house thing. But in general, the 9th house has a lot to do with expanding our mind, our horizons, our view, those little panels coming, spreading apart. How do we do that? Through education. That's why the 9th house has a lot of universities and colleges and courses, you teaching a course or you learning or going on some kind of collective where you learn something. This is really big time for you to learn something new. Some of you may literally be going back to college to get your doctorate, master's degree, something like that. I mean, that is a thing. Or you could be publishing something. Maybe you're publishing some new oracle cards yourself, right? I remember when I went through the 9th house activation, that's when we produced our first deck, the Power of Eight Chakra Oracle, right? And then we came out with the Lenormand, but that's an example of the 9th house activation too for you this year is publishing something. Maybe that's music, maybe that's cards, maybe that's a book, maybe that's a new course, maybe that's a lead magnet, whatever. You're publishing to the public in some way. 9th house too has a lot to do with exotic people, foreign affairs, international. And so you may be, selling to those people, or you may be involved in meeting those people. And sometimes it doesn't mean that they live over the pond. They could live in your community, next door neighbor. You meet him or her, but he or she grew up in a different culture, a different way than you, and it's very interesting. And so keep an eye out for that kind of stuff because it opens the mind, opens your horizons, right? So you're not just in the box blah, blah, like this. You're more expanding in some way. So that's very exciting, Gemini. Okay. I also see a little bit of career energy this year too. It could be an expansion in your career in some way too. And another way that we learn in the 9th house to expand is through travel. So some of you Geminis Gemini risings especially will be going on some kind of trip this year, a long overseas trip, or maybe not overseas, but at least somewhere overnight away from your house. Okay, now let's pull some cards from the Power of Lenormand and the Power of Each Chakra Oracle. Okay, let's see for you, Gemini. How fascinating. Solar eclipse. Big changes this year for Gemini in the ninth house. Ooh, the cards are being a little mysterious. I'm not seeing one pop out yet. That's okay, I'll take my time. Maybe that's the point, Gemini. We must take our time during this expansion. For Gemini. All right, so there will be a little bit of snake trouble. Maybe someone's being a poo-poo person to you. Snake's not the greatest card to get, but it's an obstacle of some sort, some kind of trouble, usually from another person who may be envious of you or mad at you or something like that. I mean, it could be trouble that way, but I did get the anchor card, and it has, this is kind of a bad card in Lenormand, but this is the best card in Lenormand. So I think that once you get over this snake and eclipse it out of your life, you get the anchor, which is all your hopes and dreams and stability and all the great things. In Lenormand in the ancient times, there was a game called the Game of Hope. And if once you got to this space, the anchor, you win. You get all the beautiful things of life. This literally is the best card in Lenormand, and it's called the anchor. And it's for stability, security, and all the great, wonderful things. And this could be a clue for you, Gemini, too, to add some of these red and black, red root chakra. Write this down, red root chakra healing things for stability, security, and it's okay. Everything's going to be just fine. And remember, at the bottom of our decks, it literally says that on the bottom of each deck, everything always works out for me. So remember that, Gemini. Come see me for a reading. Cancer rising, those with their moons in Cancer. Well, I'm one of you. I'm a Cancer rising and a Cancer moon as well. So I totally vibe. And this eclipse is, the theme of the year is the 8th house. Now, there's a lot going on in the 8th house. It's a deep house. It's a transformative house. Okay, 8th house has a lot to do with our intimacy issues, our relationship with our spouse too. You know, but it's more like after you get married or after you're together. Like there's things like that. It's other people's money as well. So your investments, your credit cards, your debt. So there's a lot of stuff going on with our worth, transformation, and learning to be interdependent rather than codependent or too independent. So the key word I think here for the 8th house is interdependent. And so there's a lot of transformation there. So it is a good time this year to really get a hold of your finances. Especially if you are in debt, why are you in debt? How can we get out of it? And what are the things we could do? Like, do we need to talk to a financial advisor? Maybe it's some Cancerians might go through bankruptcy or consumer proposal, for example, or some Cancerians might have an inheritance this year as well, which is sad because you know what happens when you get an inheritance. But it's a lot about the other people's money, right? Your spouse's money and all that stuff too. So there's a lot about that to take care of this year. Could be a good time to make sure your will for when you pass away is all ready. I mean, it's always good to be prepared. I'm not saying it's not you that's going to pass away, Cancer, but you may find this year that you are going to funerals. Okay, that's another thing that can happen. Can happen. Not always, right? This is just a general reading for people, but I'm just saying that's possibility here. But in general, the main theme to take care of is your finances and your worth and your self-worth, and that's a big thing. And don't worry, Cancer, you are worth it. We need you in this stratosphere. We need you, Cancer, for your nurturing, intuitive abilities and to bring some water to the chart this year, because 2026 in Chinese astrology is the year of the fire horse. And there's a lot of things going in Aries, like Saturn Neptune conjunction in Aries, which is a fire. There's a lot of dry fire. We need a little water. We need a little water this year. So Cancer, you are bringing water element to the people too. Sensitive, emotions, intuition, little in here. Everybody's up here and all scattered, and let's do this and let's get mad and let's get inflamed, and inflammation, eczema, arthritis, all these kind of things are going to happen this year. So Cancer, your energy is needed. So you are worth it. And that 8th house line that you're on talks a lot about that, the self-worth, I love myself, mirror work this year for you, Cancer, too. And to just take charge of those finances and know exactly how much money am I getting in per month? How much money am I spending per month? And let's look at that gap between the two. Okay. And what can we do with that gap? And learning about economics, finances, personal finances. That's a good idea this year for us Cancerians. All right. Let's pull a card from the Power of Eight Chakra Lenormand. And we'll also pull a card from the Power of Eight Oracle. You can get these on my website, www.themoontree.org. All right, Cancer. The health. Yeah, okay. So health can, the tree. The tree wants to be stable, but it has a lot to do in Lenormand, ancient Lenormand, with the health. And so 8th house of health, is attached to the 2nd house of health, or 8 and 2. Let's talk about those two houses and how it can manifest through health. Well, the 8th house is a lot about our intestines, our gut health. So I want you to look for leaky gut syndrome. That's a lot of the causes of ailments and parasites. All right. I want you to look that up. Parasite cleanse. And then the 2nd house too is what we eat. So, that has a lot to do with the intestines as well. It could be a time to look. Could you do without gluten for a month? Could you do without sugar? Could you do without the dairy? Right? Start thinking that, and that's going to help a lot this year. All right. Now let's pull a card from the pink Power of 8. And as we work on our health too, Cancer, I just wanted to say that affects and has a ripple effect on all the other things in our life, like the money, like the relationships, like this and that and that. So health is wealth. Okay, health is wealth. Remember, if we're sick in bed all day, we can't make money. Okay, unless unless you have a lot of passive income streams, which is actually a good thing too in this 8th house that we're in. It could be a good time to think about those passive income streams where you do one thing one time and it keeps returning you the money. So something to think about here. But I am worthy of love. I told you this 8th 2 house thing that we are in this year is about our self-worth and how worthy are we, and everything around you wants to separate us. We're not worthy. We're just peons. We're just human beings. We suck. No, we want to know we are beautiful humans. I learned this from my friend Bethany. She said we are humans. What is that? Hue, light beings, the hue. And so I am worthy of love. Working on that heart chakra. They say that the archons and whatever evil things exist out there, whatever, are really turned off by love, coming from that heart chakra. And that's a lot about this card, the heart chakra, the green heart chakra. I'm worthy of love. So look that up today too, Cancer. It's going to be very good. All the green and pink things of essential oils, clothes, rocks, green and pink. All right, come see me for a reading. Leo rising, those with their moons in Leo. Okay, well, we have the solar eclipse. The theme of your year is the 7th house. This is your contracts, commitments, writing on the dotted line somewhere. if you own a business, this is your audience, this is your clients, this, the people, the fan base, these are people. And sometimes there's enemies in there too, but I don't really like to focus on that because you know what? If I don't focus my time or energy, because where thought goes, energy goes too. So I'm not going to focus on the enemy part of things. But the seventh house has a lot to do with your spouse as well, your joint, really close partnerships, like business partnerships or your husband or wife or something like that, that close partnership thing. But it's also all these commitments or these contracts that you have in life. So it'd be a good time to look through all. Do you still need Sirius radio in your truck, or are you just listening to the radio all the time anyway, and you're just paying, like, what are you paying for that you don't need anymore? Like subscriptions. I want you to look at subscriptions this year, Leo, and see what can we erase, take away there. Number two, I want you to look at your relationships and how you do relationships. That's very important. And you are, in kind of a selling and buying mode in some way too. So that's going to be a theme in the seventh house. I told you, writing your name on the dotted line. All right, let's pull some cards for you, Leo, on the Power of Eight Chakra Lenormand and the Power of Eight Chakra Oracle, available on my website, www.themoontree.org. All right, this is for Leo. Contracts, commitments, maybe selling, buying, whether that's a business, whether that's getting a new job or something like that too. I mean, there's lots of stuff where you might have to be signing your name somewhere. So look at things with discernment, of course, Leo, and that'll be good. Okay, yeah, and we got the snake card. A little bit of trouble there this year too, but it is because it's a volatile year. And another example of really looking at, before you sign on the dotted line, you look at those details and you ask questions, and you make sure you have all the answers before you do anything. That's very, very important, right? But don't be obsessed. Don't be obsessed about data, getting all the data. But you'll feel it. You'll feel when it's right? Some of this trouble is coming from the whip, which is debates and arguments and fighting with people too. I mean, sometimes when we have to sign on the dotted line, you have to make a case for yourself. And so there's a little bit of debate there, or conflict in a way, saying both sides, stuff like that, especially if you're in some kind of I don't know, separation agreement, divorce. Especially the seventh house can mean divorce, because I told you, it's a husband or wife thing too. So sometimes it's either getting married or getting divorced, one or the other, but it kind of depends on your chart. But there is looking like there is going to be a little bit of trouble when it comes to one of these contracts or commitments coming up this year. Okay. And just use tact, Leo. Use discernment. Feel it with your heart, because you do rule the heart. And then everything will be, okay. The birds show me communication, but it also shows me that this year you're going to have a lot of tasks to do. The birds are hard work. It's a little bit like there's just so many things to do and take care of, and I'm thinking that you're going to be busy with a lot of paperwork this year, Leo, as well, in some way too. But communication is key, and the whip means sometimes arguments. So let's try to make our communications good, tactful. Make sure you listen a lot too, right? You can get a long way in a contract or commitment with someone when you listen more than you talk. They'll subconsciously feel heard, listened, and they'll be more willing to work with you. They'll be more willing to have less conflict with you, for example. So listen more, Leo, this year than talking. And also, I really, really encourage you to watch your Chinese animal forecast that I did for 2026. You're going to glean a lot of information of what to do this year in your life. Okay, so watch that. Everything, whether you're rooster or ox or snake like me, or whatever animal sign you are, you should really watch those forecasts as well. Okay, and we will pull one more card from the Power of Eight Chakra Oracle for you, Leo. And I accept the contrast. Okay, wait, it's stuck here. I accept the contrast. See? Yin and yang, his side, her side, listening, accepting the contrast. Not everyone's going to agree with you, Leo, right? And I know, like, you're a leader. You're wishing in your subconscious heart that everybody just listen to me. I know what I'm doing, but listen, there's always stuff that we can learn, right? We're never done learning, and it's very good to listen this year. I accept the contrast. I accept that not everyone's going to agree with me. I accept that there's going to be maybe some debate, but we can do this with tact and compassion and always have that love in your heart, Leo. Come see me for a reading. Virgo rising, those with their moons in Virgo. Welcome to your solar eclipse. New moon, new beginnings. This is the theme of your year, and it's in your 6th house. Now, this is your regular day-to-day life. This is changing this year. What can we do to make it more efficient? How can we improve our day-to-day life? Any little thing we can do to improve is good. And if you're feeling like your life's boring or the same old, or like you're going through Groundhog Day every day, Virgo, well, that means you need to do pattern break in the 6th house. What's pattern break? You take a different road to work. You try something new. You don't tell anybody first, though. You just do it, and you do it at the last minute. That is going to break pattern, and you're going to see some changes. It's brushing your teeth with a different hand. Instead of the right hand brushing, use your left hand. It's instead of having coffee in the morning, having a green tea. It's all these little pattern breaks that's going to help you this year. Now, the 6th house also has to do a lot with health, and especially because it's attached to the 12th house of the mental health. I would say that this year is, how do we eclipse out the stress of our lives so that we have better health? What can we do in our day-to-day lives that we can remove or change so that we have less stress, so that we have more ease, so that life is like, we're going with the flow rather than resisting, going against it, and you know what I mean? So we really want to focus on that this year, Virgo. It's going to be very good for you indeed. Now, let's pull a card from you for you from the Power of 8 Chakra Lenormand and the Power of 8 Chakra Oracle. These are available on my website with a tracking number at www.themoontree.org if you're interested, Virgo. All right, let's start with some Lenormand. And Lenormand's been chacrified. Okay, let's see for you, Virgo. 6th house, health, day to day. A little bit with pets too, can be. Oh, and see, having the power in your life, in your day-to-day life too. There's a lot about you. The 6th house too holds a few other things that I forgot to mention. If you're a boss, these are your employees. If you own real estate, this is the real estate you rent out to someone. But it's having the power this year to change something in your life so that there's more ease and flow and less stress. That's what I would like you to take away from this. This is the bear in Lenormand, the power. And this can do a lot with the food you eat as well. That can help. Watch out for dairy, for gluten, for sugar. Okay, start there. Start simple. And this can be, health can be improved by strength training. Okay, that's what the bear card too has a lot to do with, muscles and strength training. And especially, and I just turned 48 in January as an Aquarius. And it's important for people over 40 to really work on the strength, making the muscles to support, and for hormonal health too. There's a lot of great stuff to go with strength training. Okay, and I'm not asking you to be a bodybuilder and anything like that, but I am asking you to look into strength training techniques so that you make sure that your muscle development is still good and that you don't become an amoeba. All right, come see me for a reading, Virgo. Libra rising, those with their moons in Libra. Well, this year, your theme of this eclipse is showing it's in the 5th house. Lots of great stuff. This is the fun house. This is my favorite house. You and Aries, same line. You guys are both on a good house here of the people. So the fifth house in particular for you is getting back into your creativity, doing your art, doing your cooking, doing your garden, doing anything that is artsy fartsy, music, anything like that. That is a creation that you like to do. Okay. The fifth house is all about having fun again, staying away from negative, toxic behaviors, people, and things like that make you feel yucky. Okay, that's it. It's having fun. Fifth house. It's being like a child again. The fifth house, you know how it's a creative house? Well, we create children. As humans, we create children. So that's why the children are in there too. So this year for a lot of Libras, there will be pregnancies in the family, whether it's you or whether it's your daughter getting pregnant or something like that, whatever. But there is this child sort of vibe, more attention on children, but also for yourself, Libra. It's being like that child again and being looking at the world in new eyes, and that finding the fun again in life and finding pleasure and doing fun things. This can be hobbies. This can be getting together with some kind of crafting group, bingo. I don't know. I'm making up stuff here. Oh, speaking of bingo, the fifth house is a lucky house too. This year it could be your time to win at something in the games of chance. Now, I don't want you to spend all your money on lottery tickets and be crazy, but I'm just saying that you might get lucky, especially in those smaller raffles where there's less competition. I mean, you have a lucky vibe in the fifth house too. It's just the best house. I love the fifth house, Libra, for you. So that looks really good indeed. This is also a good time if you've been thinking of having a little side gig or opening a business or something like that, like, I mean, I would, at first, I always recommend keeping your day job, but starting at like just starting your other thing, like whatever that is for you, whether that's a personal trainer or a card reader or something like that. This is a time to sort of explore and move forward in that kind of vibe too. Okay, Libra, let's pull some cards from our decks, the Power of Eight Chakra Lenormand and the Power of Eight Oracle, which are available on my website, www.themoontree.org. Comes with a tracking number too, so for your peace of mind, so you get your package, your parcel, and it ships from Peace River, Canada. All right. Okay, Libra, fifth house, so exciting for you. I knew I was going to get the sun, and I did. I knew I was going to get the sun. The fifth house is ruled by Leo, which rules the sun. And I had all these thoughts in my mind. And of course, I pulled the sun. It's very good for you, Libra, this year to do fun, happy success. It's a success card. The sun, shining on you. This could be a time, too, where you may need more vitamin D right now, especially because you're watching this right now in the wintertime. Vitamin D3 with the magnesium lotion, right? Lots of vitamin D3. We're all low on that. No sun around, get your sunshine, but the fifth house is fun, and it's a success. So very, very good to do all those fun, sunny things. Maybe it's too like adding some flowers to your kitchen table or something like that to boost up the vibe of your house, things like that. It's going to be very good for you as well. Okay, Libra. Yeah, I do love the fifth. Oh, and then we get the moon, and we're talking about the eclipse, sun, moon. Wow. But this is your feelings, and the fifth house can hold romantic feelings, and this often is kind of a romance card too. I'm not surprised if you're single or whatever, Libra, this year you could find romance. But not only that, if you're already with someone, the romance, you can get back the romance in maybe a stale relationship or it's like, boring or whatever. Like, there's just more romance in the air this year for you. There's a lot of feelings with that moon card for you. Okay, Libra, I hope you enjoyed that. Come see me for a reading. Scorpio rising, those with their moons in Scorpio. This eclipse, the theme of your year is happening in your fourth house of home and family. That's the main theme this year. But not only that, because it's attached to the 10th house of career. How do we balance our home with our career, right? Some of you Scorpios might be moving, buying, selling a home, or moving. That's one thing that can happen, and it could be due to career changes, maybe. But I think a lot for if especially if you're my age, I'm 48 years old, Scorpio, and you know my parents are aging, and so when things are happening or stirring up in the fourth house, this can be about our parents, our ancestors, and our parents. So it's like maybe they're having the change where they need to go to a home, or maybe you want to move closer to them to take care of them. Okay, Scorpio, fourth house is a lot about the home, family, parents, stuff like that too. So that could be a thing as well. Okay, but just know you do is right. You're an intuitive Scorpio. You know what to do. You're a water sign. You feel it, and you know the right thing to do, and everything's going to be just fine. For some of you, Scorpio, it could just be you're renovating your house. I'm doing some renovations this year, right? Just make sure you don't do them in the south this year. No renos in the south, no digging in the south with that 5 yellow star in Chinese astrology. Download my feng shui guide as well. It's for free in my freebies side on my website, www.thatmoontree.org. Go to the freebies, get your feng shui guide, and watch and learn and do all that stuff, okay, Scorpio? Because you are fourth house of the home, so you want to make sure your house is feng shui this year too, so check that out. All right, let's pull some cards for you from the Power of 8 Lenormand and the Power of 8 Oracle. Chakra Lenormand, Chakra Oracle, they're both chakra. Okay, Scorpio, let's see for you. Fourth house, solar eclipse, new moon, new beginnings in Aquarius. How exciting. Scorpio. All right, let's see here. Yes, you've got a gift. The bouquet. This is a gift of happiness, of joy. It's a nice card to get in Lenormand for you. When it comes to your home, could be about just refreshing the home, rejuvenating the home, um, spending time with friends, family, that kind of thing in the home. It can be very good. And finding the right balance between the career and the home as well. So that looks nice indeed. Okay, let's pull a pink card for you from the Power of 8 Chakra Oracle as well. I am worthy of love. We have this for another sign, another heart chakra, very much about the heart. I'm worthy of love. Okay, I'm worthy of love. The fourth house, being activated can sort of bring up emotions of your upbringing, of your family life, and how you were brought up, and all the sometimes trauma and things like that too. And just to realize, well, yeah, you're worthy of love, Scorpio. We love and need you very, very much. So that's good. Work on the heart chakra this year too. I mean, green and pink stones, right? Jade. What's green stones? Green aventurine, and then rose quartz. The pink and the green are very good for you this year. And then for the essential oils, anything green mandarin. I don't know. Post in the comments below some essential oils that could go with green and pink, right? Besides rose oil. Rose oil is really expensive, so I don't always recommend that because not everyone can afford that one. But there's different ones too, like pink peppercorns I saw. I still want to try that one, and things like that. But pink and green, basil's a really good one to diffuse in your diffuser. Your essential oil diffuser, basil, can be very good for the heart chakra as well. Okay, love. I'm worthy of love. Very good for that home and family kind of vibe this year, Scorpio. All right, Sagittarius rising, those with their moons in Sagittarius. Well, this eclipse, the theme of your year, happening in your third house. I call this the junk drawer of the zodiac because so many things happen in there, but there's a lot of communication and learning here in the third house. But it's also quite a bit of sales and marketing. So expect Sagittarius to be very busy this year, invited to things, social media, texts, letters, things like that. That's one thing. And the third house also has a lot to do with our community. So if you are a person who owns your own business, for example, I know that we're used to hearing, online stuff, which yes, the third house holds a lot of that online social media, making lives, doing Instagram, stuff like that. Sure. But don't forget about your immediate community. You can get a lot of sales just by going to your neighborhood, right? Going to your local marketplaces and things like that. So let's just say you read tarot cards or something like that. Well, why don't you go to your local yoga studio or your local wellness studio or your community center or even the brewery and the pub and get clients that way as well, do a presentation and work with the business owner, do a presentation in front of people and do something for free for them, 20-minute thing. And then if you're interested in working with me further, put your business card in my little box here because I'm picking a winner of a free session tonight too, so things like that, right? But the community involvement, that's a big thing. Whether you own your own business or not, it doesn't really matter, but getting out there in the community. Third house is also Sagittarius, a lot about the trips that we take in our vehicle, the short trips. So expect to be busy this year, but it's really good for sales. If you are a salesperson, if you work in sales, a very good year for you to capture more clients, and this is a good time too to update your business cards, your website, and things like that. So the third house too also has to do with our siblings, so brothers and sisters and things like that. Sometimes extended family, like cousins and uncles, for example. But you expect to see more activity, Sag, this year from your siblings as well. And finally, and maybe most importantly, the third house is a lot about learning. It's on the 3-9 line, the third house, ninth house line, which is all about education and learning. So expect this year to be maybe taking a course, teaching a course. But in any case, it's all about learning a skill that you can use to up level in your video game of life. You could get that through books. You could get that through a course or anything like that. And in some cases, this means, Sag, that you are becoming the teacher. And actually, since you are Sagittarius, you are born a teacher, guiding and teaching people in some way too. So keep that in mind. But this year, this is all going to be very exemplified. And because I see a little bit of home and family in your chart this year too, I'm going to say that some of you may finally decide, okay, I'm ready to have my own home business. All right, Sagittarius, let's pull some cards from the Power of 8 Chakra Lenormand and the Power of 8 Chakra Oracle. These are available on my website as a set at www.themoontree.org. And they come with a tracking number from Peace River in Canada. All right, so let's pull from the Lenormand. Okay, Sagittarius, let's see what the cards would like to say to you. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. For Sagittarius, solar eclipse and beyond for 2026. All right, for Sagittarius. There we go. Oh, Sagittarius, you do have some health things going on with the tree. Now, the tree is, about growth and but a lot in traditional Lenormand is a lot about your health. So this is a good time to take care of third house health matters. And the third house has a lot to do with respiratory and the lungs and the speaking. So stuff in here, okay, and to work with that. So, I would say too, make sure you're doing things that help you to breathe. There's a lot of the breathing, breath work can be very good to help. And not only is breath work good to get more oxygen in your body, it's not only that, it's also the sense of relaxation and ignoring all the noise, because like I said, it's going to be very busy for you this year, and stress and mental health, and then that can cause, breathing and like that feeling. So you really want to, do a lot of like relaxation, deep breathing exercises and meditation, things like that to calm the mind and in turn, help you to breathe. Okay. So there's that. I'll pull one more for you, Sagittarius, too, from the blue Power of 8 Chakra Lenormand. All right. Oh, we got Phoenix Rising. This is a bonus card that I created for our deck. When Michelle made the illustrations, this was from her resin organite that was developing when it was curing. it created this picture, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks like a phoenix rising. So this is a lot about coming out of your shell, getting into the community, showing off your stuff, showing what you have to offer, making sales and marketing. And maybe it's like you've spent too much time at home. And part of the health things that can help you is to rise out of there, rise out of the shell, rise out of the dark corner of your room, get out from under your blankie there, put on your big girl panties, and get out there, right? Get out there with the people. That can be a good thing, and learn something new and to rise out like the phoenix rising. So that looks good. Now, Sag, let's pull up a card from the Power of 8 Chakra Oracle, the original, very chakra oriented deck here, and always good messages. This is for, whoa, there's a lot here that we want to pull out. Okay, the card got all crazy there. All right, let's calm down. See, take a deep breath. For Sagittarius, third house. Okay. I am safe. Red root chakra for grounding. Hugging a tree too. Remember we had that tree card? Hugging a tree, grounding yourself, using essential oils from a tree for grounding, stability, and getting away from maybe too much social media or too much doom scrolling or anything like that too, and realizing I am safe, and getting out in nature. That's a big thing too. And because it is busy and there's always some distraction for us out there, right? So we got to sort of discern about what's a distraction here and what's real, right? What's real. And so I am safe. And you can also get yourself some red rocks, okay? Red rocks, red jasper, or black. So black onyx is a good one. Black tourmaline is a good one. Smoky quartz is a good one. To help, you carry them around, you sleep with them under your pillow, you put them in your brassiere, whatever. But it's like having that rock energy, the color therapy, and the resonance coming off of the crystal healing stuff. So I am safe. Number one, too, that's the beginning of the movie. I mean, you are going on some kind of new adventure here, Sag, this year. And it looks to be something that you're learning in the third house, right? And you're in something about becoming more within the community and things like that. So that looks really good for you, Sag. Use this in your benefit to your game of life. Come see me for a reading. Capricorn rising, those with their moons in Capricorn. It was funny because Michelle is the illustrator of our decks, right? Michelle, my buddy, and she's a Capricorn. And she phoned me from Honduras, messaged me because her and her Capricorn husband, Al, they do their yearly Honduras trip. And so they phoned me from the beach, and we were hanging out, and I was talking astrology, and a lady that was sitting on the bench overheard our conversation and she's like, hey, I'm a Capricorn too. So that was funny. But anyways, Capricorn, what we were talking about on that conversation this very morning was about how the solar eclipse is affecting your second house. So this is the 2 and 8. They're aligned on the zodiac wheel. 2 and 8 has a lot to do with money, okay, and finances. But it's not just that. It's like your self-worth. And there's a lot of things that are involved in there too. So we're going to kind of unwrap a little more of that. So the second house is, yes, your income, your money. I think that this year, Capricorn, you're really thinking about your security and stability for the future when it comes to wealth management, money management. Maybe some of you are thinking of retiring, and maybe you're focusing on debts, which is always a good thing. Let's focus on getting rid of the debt and then building our wealth in a way too. And for some of you, it's thinking about maybe some alternate ways to increase our money in the second house of income, passive wealth income streams, for example. Maybe it's like you're looking at your portfolio, your investment portfolio, and you're thinking, maybe I want to put a little more into dividend stocks that gives me dividends that I can reinvest back into the stock. And then maybe someday I can live off all the dividends. I know that's kind of a dream of mine. I'm not a Capricorn, but I have Capricorn in my chart quite strong. And that is something that I've been thinking about lately, is like, working with my portfolio to get more of the dividend stocks in there, for example. And I'm not a financial advisor or whatever. I'm just saying, thinking of other ways to get income, and it could be too, like, I was looking at my I didn't realize I had been kind of monetized on YouTube, and I was like, oh, there's money in there. I didn't realize. So I'm like, I'm gonna make more videos, I'm gonna keep going. It gave me like motivation to keep this going and to grow now, because I didn't realize I was like actually getting money for YouTube. And it's just stuff like that. Second house is a lot about money, but it's also about your self-worth. Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Do people like me? That kind of stuff is going on in our minds as a Capricorn. So um, that's kind of the theme of the year. And your worth is, you know, you're worth it. You are worth it already, Capricorn. Like, just you being born in the first place means you're worth it, and you're special. And it's just sometimes we get distracted along the way of feeling, worthy. And there's a lot of messaging in the world like, oh, you're just a human, or you can't do this. So it's a really good time to really look at ourselves and think, where's my negative thinking coming from, and what are those thoughts that kind of block me from moving forward, for example, and things like that. You want to think about those kind of things, especially when it comes to belief systems and thoughts and things like that. So something to think about. Now, finally, the second house I wanted to mention was a lot about what we put in our mouth. So dietary issues are going to be a big thing this year for you, Capricorn. And so, are you allergic to dairy? Are you allergic to gluten? Most people are allergic to both of those things. They do not do well in the system, in the human body. Okay, something to look at, what are we putting in our mouth? And that can really help with our wealth as well. Okay, so let's pull some cards from the Power of Eight Chakra Lenormand and the Power of Eight Chakra Oracle. These are available on my website, www.themoontree.org. They come as a set with a tracking number as well, so you can be certain about where your package is and getting it delivered, okay? And they come from Canada, so just to let you know. All right, Capricorn, let's start with the Power of Eight Chakra Lenormand. Knock 3 times and see what's up. Capricorn on the money line. Money, finances, making a budget, looking at where we're spending our money, and we're looking at how much we're making compared to spending, and looking at that gap, all those things, right? Getting friends with your money, getting friends with, and observing where we could make maybe some improvements. All right. So here we go. Oh, and the lily for wisdom, for purity, purifying your money habits, your money stuff, purifying your body. And wisdom is a lot, or lily, I should say, is a lot about long-term satisfaction. So having the long-term, the long game, Capricorn, is what you're thinking of too at this time. And so that's a very cool card indeed. And we'll pull a few more for you. Why not? We'll pull another one for you, Capricorn, here. Oh, house. So we're in the money line, and so there could be some real estate stuff going on here, buying or selling real estate. The second house also has to do with what we value now, how, like, not only our self-worth and valuing ourselves, but what we value now. So it could be like you're valuing the home, you're valuing your family, you're thinking more about those things, you're thinking of the future, and also your legacy wealth to your kids when you pass, all that kind of stuff, your will, things like that. There's a lot of this home family vibe. And some of you, it could be buying or selling a new property, or it could be renovating your house this year, or doing some upgrades in some way as well. All right, so that looks cool. Okay, let's pull one more for you, Cap, from the Power of Eight Chakra Oracle. All right, for Capricorn in the solar eclipse and beyond in 2026. Well, what shall we know? They're a little sticky today. There it is. I love this guy. Inspiration surrounds me. Do you see the guitar? Yes, it's a full moon. And but do you see that guitar, right? Inspiration surrounds me everywhere. You just got to look for it, right? So this can be a time too to because the second house has a lot to do with your value and your self-worth. It could be like maybe back in the day you used to play music. You used to do art. Or, and okay, so let's stick with that thought for a second. I always get ahead of myself and then I go on these tangents, but let's just stick with this. You used to do something musical, creative, or art. Okay. Well, maybe it's been busy in life, or you're trying to play the game of life and you've just kind of put that under the rug, or that guitar is still in your closet. So this is a time to sort of get that back out, get inspired. It can be about going out in nature and being inspired by what you see. And it could also be a nudge to you if you do art or music that you can make money this year off of that second house. Okay, so that's something that the inspiration surrounds me. And this is the dark blue indigo, which is the third eye chakra, not only for intuition and stuff like that, but for seeing the future ahead and dreaming of the future and seeing, that. And then this can also mean seeing the forest for the trees, but also taking a step back and looking at it from the top too, looking at it from different angles. Inspiration will come to you in different ways this year for sure, Capricorn. That looks awesome. Come see me for a reading. Aquarius rising, those with their moons in Aquarius. Well, I'm one of you. I'm a Aquarius sun, okay? And so this eclipse is an Aquarius. This is our self, the first house of the self. This is our physical appearance quite often, but it's much, much, much more than that. This is a super transformation in our lives. This is a real big chapter reset for us, Aquarian. You've already started feeling it. But the theme of the year, too, is a lot about how we do relationships. Relationships with our spouse, relationships with our boss, relationship with our friends, our mother-in-law, all of it, our children. So relationships are a big thing. And I think that a lot of us Aquarians are being looked up this year for maybe subconsciously like guidance in a way. I think that this is sort of our time to shine, but also to be a leader and to help guide into this next chapter in the universe. So there's just a lot of transformation. Sometimes it can be tough. It's tough to up level. When you're playing a video game and you're just about to get to the next level, and it's always so difficult. And sometimes you got to try again and again and again, and you use up a bunch of lives to like try and win this level, right? It's always like that in the game, but because life acts a lot like a video game too. That's why a lot of times when we're right just about there, a lot of people give up. That's not the spot to give up. You got to keep trying and get until it works. And that'll help you improve into the next level. So yes, there will be trials and tribulations and a little bit of struggle for us Aquarians, for sure. But just know that once you get past that, you learn what you need to do, and you self-mastery. That's the big sort of lesson. Self-mastery. What can we do to up level? And it has a lot to do with relationships and having compassion towards other people and helping other people. And these are my beliefs. I mean, you take what you want from this, but there is definitely a lot of transformation here for Aquarius. I do also see for Aquarius, there is a lot of self-worth lessons and situations and things that are happening about how you value yourself, how am I worthy? Am I not? All that stuff. There's those questions are coming up this year too. And just know you're very valuable. You're very worth it. Okay, Aquarius. You are sort of the boss in a way this year too with this Aquarius solar eclipse, and because Pluto recently moved into Aquarius for the next 19 years or whatever it is. There's just a lot of Aquarius and Aquarius vibes here of this next new chapter in the universe. So you're definitely an integral part of this. You're an integral part of the team, Aquarius. So don't give up. Remember, it's always the most struggle right before you up level. All right. So there's that. What else did I want to say? Oh, yeah, there's also a little bit of finance issues this year for Aquarians, learning to deal with the debt and coming into your power, financial power, and learning maybe a little bit about how money works, and not focusing your whole time on energy on 3D money and all that stuff either. But definitely, there's some kind of responsibility that you're asked to take when it comes to your finances. Okay, so something to think about. All right, Aquarius, let's pull some cards for you. Excuse me, from the Power of 8 Chakra Lenormand and the Power of 8 Chakra Oracle. These are available on my website, www.themoontree.org, if you're interested. And they do come with a tracking number, okay? And they come from Canada. So let's see for you, Aquarius, from the Power of 8 Chakra Lenormand. What can we know? And I'm always get excited for Aquarius because I'm one. So I'm always excited. What are the cards going to say? Yes, the first house of the self. Okay, see, there is mountain obstacles. Like I said, just before you're going to reach that up level, there's some kind of struggle, and let's challenge the Aquarian a little bit longer. And so there's obstacles for sure. And I think that that's par for the course. And maybe just think of it as, okay, it's an obstacle or it's part of the video game, If we didn't have obstacles and to do like how I feel like it would sort of be like there would be no chance to sort of learn anything. I mean, it's easy enough to take all these trainings and learning and reading about it, but to actually put it into practice, then that's when you're going to get the obstacles. But that's when the real change and transformation happens, is when you get around or over the obstacles, right? Some of these obstacles this year is because of the whip, which is debating and conflict with other people. I had this for another sign. I forget which one right now, but the whole point of this whip is to realize that there is a win-win, and that's the obstacle, is what is the win-win? It's the hardest to find. How can we find the win-win in the middle? Now, in some cases, there is no win-win. There's either a winner or a loser in the deal. But most cases, you can find a middle where both parties are okay with it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that this year it's important because there is a lot of relationships energy that I told you about, how we do relationships. Maybe it's less about debating and less about arguing our points or our opinions, and more about listening and then trying to find a solution to the mountain that feels like a win-win for both parties. So keep that in mind this year, Aquarius. I think that's going to get you very far in this amazing year. Now, let's pull one from the Power of 8 Chakra Oracle. Okay, the pink originals for Aquarius in 2026 for the solar eclipse and beyond. I take a closer look. There we go. Another example of not just jumping to one, because guess what? There's more ways to get from A to Z, right? There's a lot of different ways we can get to A to Z. And so we want to take a closer look. And when it comes to relationships this year for us Aquarians too, we want to take a closer look at how we are sort of contributing to whatever's going on, especially if it has to do with, conflict with other people or anything like that. Like, what could we do to make things easier, find the win-win, taking a closer look for solutions, right? And that's a very important part. Taking a closer look at ourselves, the first house of the self, Aquarius, solar eclipse, okay? Take a closer look. Take a closer look at myself. What's going in my body? How do I do relationship? How do I communicate, and things like that. I take a closer look And it could be too, this is like a mask. Like, what masks are we wearing in our relationships and how we present ourselves to the world? And I think all of that is changing this year, for us Aquarians. And the mask is being peeled off. And we're taking a closer look at our authentic underneath the mask and what we really desire in life and moving towards that. Okay. And also taking a closer look at what's in our immediate environment, everything from what foods are we eating to what are we letting in through our eyeballs, what kind of social media, all that kind of stuff, and really taking kind of an assessment as an observer of all these things, and then trying to, improve, because I believe that this video game of life, so to speak, is all about self-mastery. Come see me for a reading, Aquarius, if this resonated. Pisces rising, those with their moons in Pisces. All right, well, I'm excited for you because this solar eclipse is in your 12th house. Now, the 12th house is a very spiritual inner house. All the hidden stuff that you've been repressing in the 12th house is being illuminated and is being brought to the surface for dealing with, right? And so this is a really special year for you. I think that there's a lot of you awakening to your intuitive psychic abilities, which Pisces are naturally born with. And I think that, there's been all your life, maybe there's been a little bit of a fear of really tapping into your psychic abilities and the esoteric and the spiritual stuff, because we get programmed by all sorts of things like religion and what our parents think and what our school and blah blah blah. We get programmed all life, and then those things get repressed. But Pisces, you are said to be the most intuitive of the zodiac, and I do think this is your time to really explore those things. Anything from spoon bending to cards to astrology to metaphysics to levitation to telekinesis to spiritual mediumship, maybe all sorts of stuff like that you are learning about, Pisces. So very cool indeed. Yeah, something happened with my TV just now, that my backlight, using my TV as a black light. And something happened when I said that. That's kind of interesting. So yeah, I would say don't be afraid of getting back into your true self, like your true soul, and freeing that and really opening up to all these special things and esoteric knowledge and spiritual stuff and your power within, the power within that's been suppressed, Pisces. That's a really big thing for you this year. I do see a lot of your year too having to do a little bit with the self-worth, and that can be maybe this situation I'm in is no longer serving me, and I'm ready to break free from this situation. Like the 12th house can sometimes hold bad habits, like alcoholism or drug addiction or anything like that. And so maybe this is the year that you break free from that, because you really get into your soul's spiritual self and really deep and working on those kind of things. Maybe it's like you embark on hypnosis journey, you become a hypnotherapist maybe, or you learn about it, or you get hypnotized by a professional who can help to release, maybe stop smoking or release yourself from some trauma from the past or anything like that. So that's a lot of magical stuff happening for you. And there's a little bit of money stuff too. I mean, maybe you realize, is this job paying me enough, or do I even like this job anymore? For example, I'm just putting an example. But it is looking at these things in the 12th house that we've kind of pushed down and hidden for a long time and not really wanted to deal with them because they're a little or a little weird or whatever it is, but like we've pushed those down. And so this is the year that we finally deal with those things in order to evolve, in order to become the magical Pisces cells that we are, right? So that's very exciting. All right, Pisces, let's look at your cards. So we've got the Power of 8 Chakra Lenormand and the Power of 8 Chakra Oracle. These are available on my website, www.themoontree.org, if you're interested, and they do come with a tracking number from Canada. Okay, so let's check it out for Pisces, the magical 12th house of spiritual. Oh, by the way, if you own your own like yoga studio or healing modality thing, well, this is a good time to host a retreat. Okay, now if you don't own any of those things, this is a good time for you to go on a retreat. Okay, a special yoga retreat or whatever. I don't know. There's all sorts of kinds of retreats out there that are fun and healing and good like that. So that'll be a very good idea for you, Pisces, this year too. All right, let's see for you in the cards. What do we have? See, we got the pain. This is the cross. In the traditional Norman, this is the cross where like Jesus carried the cross of a burden, right? There was a burden, there was a pain. And so there is pain in the 12th house sometimes, or buried trauma that maybe you haven't dealt with for years and years and years. It could be childhood stuff that is coming to the surface. It's finally ready to be taken care of, so to speak, or to be looked at, or to be nurtured, and to maybe just observe it and be able to let it go so that you can move forward. So it's not holding you back anymore from getting to this part, right? That beautiful blue sky of destiny and all those things, right? So yeah, you're gonna have to probably step through a few rocks this year, these little rocks to get to the end here. Okay, Pisces, just know that it is time maybe for you to deal with some of these issues that you've been holding down inside of your heart, right? Inside deep, deep, deep. Yeah, so the woman, she wants to, how do you show it? She wants to leave the pain, acknowledge the pain, maybe work with the pain, observe the pain, but now let's go to the future. Look at it. Ooh, I'm jumping towards the future, right? And it's not that you're ignoring the pain anymore. That's the whole key here of the 12th house. Okay, let's pull one card for you, Pisces. This is kind of a deep reading, I understand, but hey, 12th house is that. It's part of the journey. All right, Pisces, what can we know on a chakra level, maybe to help us out during this special, magical, intuitive, psychic, all sorts of things journey that we're taking this year, right? I say we too because my progressed sun is in Pisces, but that's for another lesson. And you can take lessons from me in the Cards and Stars Academy. Check that out, Pisces. You might enjoy that in your, spiritual journey. There's lots of great stuff in there. And we meet once a month on Zoom, sometimes twice, to get together with each other on Zoom. And we learn something new. And then we also practice and we chat with each other and we pull cards for each other and all sorts of stuff like that to like support each other. And it's fun being in a like-minded intuitive group of ladies. Okay, men are welcome too, but so far I don't have men in the group, but we have right now it's a bunch of ladies, so it's cool. It's really fun. So you might be interested in that, Pisces. I am aligned. Check it out. Actually, this was the card we chose for the cover of the book and the cover of the box, right? Isn't that funny? I am aligned. Number 28, 2 plus 8 equals 10, 1 plus 0 reduces to 1. 1 is a beginning. So you are, because 12th house, by the way, is the end of the zodiac until you get to the first house of the self again. So this year it's kind of an ending in order to begin. Right. And sometimes during these endings, like I said, before you get to that next chapter or that next level of the video game, it's always really hard at the end. And that's where a lot of people give up. And that's not the place to give up, because you got to work through it and get through that pain card we saw, surrender to the journey of the pain in a way, and so that we can up level. It's always most difficult just before we're ready to up level. I'm just putting it out there. So I am aligned. I'm aligned to this new future. Let's see what I wrote actually in the book. Okay, what did I write? I forget the exact words, but let's see what I wrote for this card. I am aligned. It's important to keep your chakras aligned, balanced, and shining brightly. So if you want protection, okay, Pisces, you can imagine a shield of light in your favorite color. around you like a cocoon. So that can help you if you're feeling afraid or anxious or anything like that. And then you could use protective stones like the black onyx or black tourmaline, shungite, or smoky quartz near you. You could use a saltwater cure in high energy rooms to keep your home and your body clean. And I just did a video with Lucille. We made our saltwater cures for the flag stars of 2026 coming in. There's 4 sectors of the house that are needing the saltwater cure. So check that out if you have a chance. And then also for cleansing, you can walk barefoot in the grass to discharge the energy in you into the earth. And you could do yoga, meditation. You could wave selenite stick all over your body, and you can cut cords of energy or dissolve the cords of energy that may be holding you back, maybe old trauma or anything like that, or just anger or anything like that. So that's something to think about. And you could burn the white sage, which the white sage cleansing, and we call it smudging, and then you could diffuse the essential oils, which is my personal favorite. I diffuse essential oils all day long, and I also put it on my skin, and I just smell them all day. And I love essential oils. I love, 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 love them. So that's another thing too. But whatever you want to do, but I am aligned. That's an important thing. And your affirmation is, I nurture, align, and protect my energetic biofield. So that's a good thing too, while you're in the 12th house working with all these things and protecting too, because if you're going to be very psychic, you're getting a lot of dreams this year, a lot of prophecy. You are a channel, okay, Pisces? You are a channel for everything intuitive. You can trust your intuition this year, and it's going to be very, very strong. But it can be overwhelming. So you just want to do things to help align your body and mind to this high frequency sort of thing that's going on with you, Pisces, this year. Come see me for a reading. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. I'm Trina, your intuitive guide with a chakra vibe, helping you navigate life's energies. And hope you press like and subscribe and tell all your friends that might be liking this kind of material. And I appreciate you for spending time with me, and happy solar eclipse in Aquarius. Mwah. I'll see you in the next one.